The idea that wealth naturally flows to the bold is not a poetic exaggeration. It is a fundamental rule that governs both money and power. Wealth, by its nature, gravitates toward movement. It grows, expands, and multiplies only when it is placed in situations where it can evolve. Money is not a relic to be preserved in a vault. It is a force that responds to action, intention, and courage. Those who become wealthy do so because they dare to use their resources rather than guard them with trembling hands. The timid believe that safety lies in holding on, in preserving every coin as if the world is conspiring to steal it away. They cling to money with desperation, and in doing so they become prisoners to their fear. They are convinced that daring to invest, to risk, to push their money into the world is an invitation for disaster. But this fear does not protect them, it limits them. The money they clutch tightly remains stagnant, forever confined to the small boundaries of their imagination. Wealth does not reward caution. It punishes it by refusing to grow. The bold understand the opposite truth. They know that money, like opportunity, is attracted to movement. Wealth responds to the same principles that govern power. Those who act with courage shape their fortunes, while those who remain passive are shaped by the decisions of others. When the bold spend strategically, they are not being reckless. They are seizing command of their financial destiny. They view money as an instrument that must be used to carve pathways, open doors, and create leverage. Being bold with money is not the same as being careless. True boldness is not blind, it is calculated. The wealthy do not simply throw resources into the wind and hope for the best. They analyze, strategize, and then act with intention. What separates them from the timid is not luck, but the willingness to embrace controlled risk. They understand that every significant advancement requires stepping into uncertainty with a steady mind. They place their money into ventures, assets, knowledge, and opportunities that have the potential to expand their reach. The timid view risk as danger, the bold view risk as necessity. To them, stagnation is the true danger. Keeping money locked away is not protection, it is surrender. Currency trapped in an account, untouched and unused, slowly erodes in value. Inflation eats away at it. Time diminishes its power. Meanwhile, the bold transform the same amount of money into something greater through action. They deploy their money like soldiers on a battlefield, each with a mission to conquer new territory. Those who fear spending fail to understand that money is not the source of power. Movement is. Money becomes powerful only when directed towards something greater than itself. When you invest in a business, a skill, or a strategic opportunity, your money begins working independently of your labor. It becomes capable of generating more of itself, creating a cycle of expansion that only the bold ever experience. The timid, trapped in the mindset of preservation, never witness this transformation. There is a reason nearly every story of immense success begins with a moment of courageous expenditure. The decision to invest in a dream, to buy a tool, to launch a venture, or to seize an opportunity always requires stepping outside comfort. Comfort is the enemy of wealth because comfort produces nothing. It convinces people that the smallest version of themselves is acceptable. It whispers that risk is dangerous and that safety is wisdom. But real wisdom lies in understanding that growth is impossible without placing something at stake. Fear disguises itself as caution, but its true nature is paralysis. Those who remain paralyzed by fear of losing money never allow themselves the chance to gain it. They imagine catastrophe in every investment, yet they ignore the slow catastrophe happening to their resources as they sit idle. The bold, on the other hand, are not controlled by fear. They acknowledge it, analyze it, and act despite it. This is why they ascend while others remain grounded. When you choose to act with boldness, you separate yourself from the mass of people who live in a state of perpetual hesitation. Boldness creates momentum, and momentum attracts opportunities that are invisible to those who stand still. Wealth follows those who move because movement signals intent, courage, and readiness to claim more than what was originally given. The bold do not wait for perfect conditions. They understand that perfection never arrives. They use what they have, where they are, and trust themselves to adapt. Money amplifies the character of its owner. In the hands of the timid, it becomes a symbol of anxiety. In the hands of the bold, it becomes a tool for expansion. Those who fear losing what little they have remain with little. Those who dare to use their money with purpose expand their capacity to earn, influence, create, and command. Boldness with money is the dividing line between those who remain at the bottom and those who ascend to the top. Power is not an abstract idea reserved for the elite. It is a structure built from resources, decisions, and strategy. Among all resources available to a person, time, knowledge, networks, money is the most flexible and the most misunderstood. It is not power by itself, but it is the foundation upon which power is constructed. The true difference between those who influence the world and those who remain influenced by it lies in how they use their resources. The strong know that money is a tool, not a treasure, and that its value lies in its ability to reshape their environment and elevate their position. Many people believe that simply possessing money gives them power, but possession alone offers nothing. Money locked away is merely dormant potential, no different from a weapon stored and never wielded. The world does not respect what you have, it respects what you use. A person who holds resources out of fear gains no influence, no authority, and no advantage. Their money does not work for them, and so it becomes little more than a number on a screen or a pile of bills with no impact on the world around them. Those who rise understand the truth: power comes from action. It emerges when resources are deployed deliberately, directed toward goals that expand reach and create influence. When you use your money to acquire skills, tools, and connections, you are not merely spending. You are altering the balance of advantage. You are positioning yourself above those who prefer comfort to advancement. Wealth, when used strategically, shifts the environment in your favor. It opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. It accelerates progress that would otherwise crawl. And it establishes authority where there was once only ambition. Resources shape power because they shape perception. A person who invests in themselves appears capable. A person who invests in their business appears serious. A person who invests in opportunities appears destined for more. The world responds to those who demonstrate movement. People gravitate toward those who show evidence of growth and direction. In this way, money becomes a silent communicator. It signals intention, ambition, and commitment. It tells others that you are building something larger than your current circumstances. Those who cling to their resources never experience this shift. They imagine that holding onto money will grant security, but security without progress is nothing more than stagnation. When you refuse to use your resources, you remain stuck in the same position, unable to influence outcomes or shape your future. You become reactive, not proactive. You wait for opportunities instead of creating them, and waiting is the posture of the powerless. To understand how resources shape power, consider how every significant advancement in history required investment. Kingdoms were not expanded by saving, they were expanded by allocating resources to armies, alliances, and infrastructure. Modern success is no different. Businesses grow because owners invest in better tools, better systems, and better people. Careers rise because individuals invest time, money, and energy into developing skills that others undervalue. Influence spreads because people spend resources to be seen, heard, and recognized. Those who become powerful do not fear the cost. They fear remaining the same. They spend strategically because they understand that resources are meant to circulate, not rot in captivity. By circulating them, they build networks, acquire assets, and strengthen their position. Every investment becomes a brick in the foundation of their future influence. Every calculated expenditure becomes a step toward a stronger and more commanding presence in their environment. The timid misinterpret this approach. They see investment as loss, not transformation. They fail to recognize that money spent with intention returns in the form of new skills, new opportunities, new credibility, and new leverage. The powerful understand that even if an investment does not return immediately, the act of moving resources still creates momentum. Momentum attracts opportunities that static resources never will. Power grows through use, not through storage. This principle applies not just to money but to all resources. Time that is not used intentionally becomes wasted hours. Knowledge that is not applied becomes forgotten information. Connections that are not maintained dissolve into nothing. Power demands circulation, it refuses to be hoarded. The more you use your resources, the more you multiply their effects. The less you use them, the faster they lose their strength. The environment itself bends to those who leverage their resources wisely. When you invest in enhancing your capabilities, others begin to rely on you. When you invest in expanding your network, doors open faster for you. When you invest in opportunities that others deem too ambitious, you carve your own path rather than following the well-worn routes of the average. Your resources give you the ability to reshape circumstances instead of being shaped by them. Every act of strategic expenditure reinforces your position. Every skill purchased, every tool acquired, every alliance formed, and every risk taken contributes to your rise in influence. Power is built layer by layer through deliberate use of resources. Those who understand this ascend, those who do not remain spectators in a world shaped by those who dare to invest. Safety is the most seductive illusion in the world of wealth. It promises stability, comfort, and protection, but in reality, it offers none of these. What people call safety is often nothing more than a cage disguised as shelter. It limits movement, ambition, and opportunity. Those who worship safety never rise beyond the small territory they carve for themselves, because safety demands that they avoid anything that carries the possibility of loss. But anything that carries no possibility of loss also carries no possibility of gain. Wealth, advancement, and influence exist on the other side of risk, not behind the walls of comfort. Calculated risk is the dividing line between those who move forward and those who freeze. Every person who has achieved anything of significance has stepped into uncertainty, not because they craved danger, but because they understood that remaining still was the greater threat. The timid view risk as a reckless gamble, but the wise see it as a strategic necessity. It is a deliberate choice to exchange the small security of the present for the larger possibilities of the future. The goal is not to act blindly, but to act intelligently, to analyze a situation, recognize its potential, and move toward it regardless of the discomfort it inspires. Many people misinterpret caution as wisdom, but excessive caution is simply fear wearing a mask. Real wisdom lies in understanding when safety becomes stagnation. It lies in recognizing that every opportunity, every investment, every venture, every shift in direction comes with uncertainty. To demand certainty before acting is to demand a world that does not exist. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is perfectly predictable. The ones who rise are those who accept this reality instead of resisting it. They learn to operate with incomplete information, to adapt quickly, and to trust their judgment. Calculated risk is not an invitation to recklessness. Recklessness is acting without thought. Calculated risk is acting with intention in spite of uncertainty. The difference is strategy. The wise study their options, assess the potential benefits, measure the potential losses, and then move forward with clarity. They understand that waiting for perfect conditions is a guaranteed path to mediocrity. Perfect conditions never arrive. Opportunities do not wait for fear to subside. While the cautious hesitate, the strategic move, and their movement creates advantage. It is often said that fortune favors the bold, but more accurately, fortune favors the bold who prepare. Without preparation, boldness becomes foolishness. Without boldness, preparation becomes useless. The people who ascend in wealth and power combine both. They gather information, refine their skills, understand their environment, and then commit to action. They know that action carries risk, but inaction carries decay. By refusing to risk anything, one risks everything: potential, progress, momentum, and time. The psychology of safety traps countless people in lives far beneath their abilities. They convince themselves that as long as they avoid danger, they remain in control, but they overlook the silent dangers of stagnation. While they hide from risks, inflation erodes their savings, opportunities pass them by, competitors move ahead, and years slip away. Their attempt to preserve their resources results in slow deterioration. The world is not kind to those who refuse to evolve. Economic landscapes shift, industries transform, and skills become outdated. Those who cling to what they have instead of expanding what they know inevitably fall behind. Calculated risk is the antidote to stagnation. It forces movement, it demands analysis, it cultivates strength. When a person takes a calculated risk, they train themselves to think strategically, to adapt, and to overcome obstacles. Each risk sharpens their instincts. Each decision builds resilience. Each failure teaches more than any classroom could. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the spine of it. The powerful understand this. They do not fear failure because they see it as refinement. They fear only the life where nothing is attempted, nothing is learned, and nothing is gained. The timid often admire the wealthy without understanding the sacrifices behind their success. They imagine that fortune came easily or that luck was somehow involved. But the truth is that every empire, whether financial, political, or personal, rests on a foundation of risks taken, decisions others avoided, moves others feared, steps others said were too uncertain. The bold acted anyway, because they were not seeking safety, they were seeking progress. They were willing to enter unfamiliar territory, because they understood that the path to power is never marked clearly. It must be carved through action. Calculated risk transforms not only circumstances but the individual themselves. It builds confidence, discipline, and clarity. When a person proves to themselves that they can endure uncertainty, and still move forward. They become stronger than those who turn away from discomfort. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision that progress matters more. Every time a calculated risk is taken, fear loses influence and ambition gains ground. The individual begins to see themselves as capable, resourceful, and worthy of greater responsibility. Safety, by contrast, breeds doubt. It convinces people that the world is dangerous and that they must protect themselves from every possible threat. It shrinks their vision and convinces them that small goals are wiser than large ones. It makes them believe that the best they can do is survive, not excel. But survival is not wealth. Survival is not influence. Survival is not power. These belong to those who take risks, not blindly, not aimlessly, but with precision, courage, and the understanding that nothing great has ever been achieved from a place of comfort. Wealth does not come to those who wait, hide, or cling to comfort. It rises in the hands of those who use their resources with purpose, who understand that money grows only when it moves, and who accept that the path to power is carved through calculated risk. Bold spending builds momentum, strategic investment expands influence, and intelligent risk separates those who command their circumstances from those who merely endure them. The world has always favored individuals who act with intention, individuals who turn their money into a force that shapes their environment instead of letting fear dictate their decisions. If you want to rise, you cannot remain a guardian of small comforts. You must become the architect of greater possibilities. Only then does wealth transform from a distant dream into an inevitable outcome.